This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, let's see that today we can go for finish the text functions first, then we can see remaining how we can go for advanced options with the relationships. So first we can go for see that what is the text DAX functions we have it, how where we can go for exactly use these DAX functions. Okay, so no remove. Yes, I want to view the filter. No, I remove it. Click OK. So try to connect to the data first. So how we can get the data? Get data and try to get CSV file, text and CSV file here, and we can go for select that data set from desktop. I have my sample data, sample superstores. We can connect to the sample superstores here. Okay, right. So I can go for get this data here, load it, load it. Okay. So now we can go for see that. Let's go for so we have the data here. So where exactly we use this text DAX function? So I have a data set here, right? Let's see that what kind of data we have it. So we have that. So try to understand this data. We have order ID, order date, ship mode, customer ID, customer name, segment, country, region, city, state, like this, right? So what it means, suppose if you go with any e-commerce site, we can go with Amazon or whatever e-commerce site you can go for it. There we have the order IDs. We do that Amazon. If you give the order in Amazon, అమెజాన్ లో మనం ఆర్డర్ ఇచ్చాను అనుకో ఆర్డర్ ఐడి ఉంటుంది ఆర్డర్ డేట్ వెన్ యూ గివ్ ఇన్ ద ఆర్డర్ ఎనీ product we are ordering in Amazon or Flipkart, we can get the order date and ship date when it's going to be delivery date. They can give the estimated ship date, right? This will be the estimated ship date or whatever, maybe it may be 1 day delay or 1 day early we can get it received, right? And shift mode, what are the different types of ship modes we have it. If you go for selected next day delivery, first class delivery, we can say that next day itself we can get it delivered, right? It's a different classes of ship modes, right? And customer ID, who is the customer and what is the customer name, and segment, who is it related to, which segment is belong, consumer, corporate, or what kind of segment. And if you go with country, city, state, this kind of data I have it, this kind of data I have it, right? So in these functions, in this particular data where we can go for generally use this DAX function, it's like it's text DAX functions. Okay, text DAX functions. So try to go for understand it where exactly we can use it. Suppose I have a uh, customer name, I have it, and customer ID I have it. Okay, so try to go for check this. Suppose if we have the customer name, I can go for customer name here. Okay, how many characters? Actually, I want to identify what is the length of the customer name. I want to identify the total length of the customer name. How many characters of his name? Okay, so then where we can, how can you identify that? We can have the functions called as length. Uh, Length we can use it and calculate the how many characters of his name. So just go for new calculation. We can write a new calculation. Okay, so we can go for like a DAX text function here, right? So here I can mention it, uh, customer name underscore length. Okay, all right. So yeah, leave it. So length function, we have the function name is called as len. This is a DAX function, we have it, len function, which can go for identify that length of that string. The string which we are giving here is customer name. You can mention that customer name here. So it will give us what is the length of that particular customer. What is the length of that particular customer? Enter it, enter it. Try to understand this. How many characters we have it here in the length function? So 12 characters. So you can go for see the 12, 14, 13, 12, and this name we have it only 8 characters. And what is the smallest name? You can go for find that. I have the 13, 8 characters and 9 characters, 8 characters, right? So this is the length of the customer. You can see that customer name. So how many characters are there in the customer name? John Lee. If we go with the John Lee, how many characters are there? JOHN, 4 characters. There is a space also counted here, LEE. 8 characters I have in this particular name. That's a length function. We can use it to identify that how many characters are there in that particular string. How many characters are there in that particular string? Okay, which function we can use it? Length function. We can use it length function. Okay, and the next function, length function is clear. We can go for find out that what is the next function is find function. We have the function name is called as find. Return the starting position of one text string within the another text string. uh, we can go for identify that find. Okay, using the find function, we can identify that starting position of the string within a string, within a string. So how can we write that? How can we write that? Find function. The function name is called as find. So let me go for check it. I have a customer name here. I have a customer name here. Okay. So each customer name, in the each customer name, okay, I want to identify that. I want to identify that E position. If we go for E is there, right? KRE, E. I want to find out that the E position in the customer name. What is the E position in the customer name? Entire all the customer names. If it is E is there, which position it is there in that particular customer name? Okay, how can we get that? How can you write a DAX function for it? Okay, let me go for create new calculation here. I can go for write a new calculation here using the new column. I can go for write a new column. So finding that position of the string. Okay, so I can use it find E position in the customer name. Okay, if we can go for customer name. So I have a function name is called as find. I have function name is called as find. Okay, so what I want to identify it? E. I want to identify that E. Mention it in double quotations. Mention it in double quotations. Okay, on which string you want to be identify it? Customer name. Identify it. You want to identify it in customer name. Okay, customer name. So the E position in the customer name. Which position? The first position I want to identify it. Okay, first position I want to identify it, giving one here. Giving one here. Enter. So let's see that what happens. Let's see that what happens. We are getting error. We are getting error. Why we are getting error here is, why we are getting error here is, so here we have that customer name, first position, first position. After that, if it is not there in the customer name, if you don't identify that E, if you don't identify that E in the customer name, suppose if you go with a customer name here, Rubin Usman, here E is there in the fourth position. If we go with a Bradley Nagayan, we have the E positions, and here Bradley we have it. See, if you go for Jazz or Coral, So here do we have the E? We don't have the E. So if we don't have the E, then what we want to return? If don't have the E in the particular customer name, what you want to return? You need to specify that. What you want to return that? You need to specify that. Okay. If you don't identify the E in the name, what you want to return? So there I can mention it. If you don't identify the E, I want to mention that 0. I want to mention that 0. If you don't identify that, I want to mention that 0. Okay. If I identify the E, it will give that position of that E in the main string. If we don't identify the E in the name of the customer, it will give the 0. Okay, enter it, enter it. Can we see now? Here 4, 6 and 0. 4, 6 and 0. Let's see that in the first customer name. The customer name is, so first E repeated here in the fourth position and E repeated here in the sixth position, right? Bradly, broadly. E is in the sixth position. Here we don't have the E, it's showing the zeros. Where we don't have the E, it is showing zeros for the Jack's Carol. See that? Jack's Carol. So this is the way we can go for identify that find. The find function is a case sensitive. Find function is the case sensitive. If you go for mention capital E, it will identify the capital E. If you go for mention it small e, it will go for identify the small e only. It's a case sensitive. Okay. So what is the position of the E? We can identify using the find function. The find function, the DAX find function. Okay, next function. Let's go for see that we have one more function is called as, it will work like a same find function. Okay, the function name is called as search function. Search is the work like a same find function, but it's not a case sensitive. Find is a case sensitive. Search is not a case sensitive. Let's do the same thing here. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Go for write a new calculation. Okay, I can mention that search function here. We have the search function. Okay, so what you want to identify using the search? Okay, I want to identify that. Suppose I mention capital A. So search is not a case sensitive. If you mention A or capital A, it will find the both. Okay, so on which text you want to identify that A? I want to identify in customer name. Customer name. Okay, customer name I can mention it, and comma the first A position 1 I want to be identified when it's the first started, and if it is not identified the A in the name, in the customer name it's not identify anything, then I want to make it as a 0. If it is not identify the A in that, it will make it as a 0. Enter it, enter it. So this is you need to be practice the DAX functions, then only you can remember it. Okay, practice is the thing. So here you can see that in the 10th position you can find the A in the customer name. What is the customer name here? Mickey Caribes something BA. There I have that A. Mickey 4 characters, space 5 characters, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th position I have A. I'm getting in the 10th position. Okay, this is the 10th position. So this is the way we can use it, search and find. Okay, what is the difference between search and find is the case sensitive. So if you give the capital A, it identify the capital A. If you give the small a, it will identify the small a. Whereas if you go with the search is not a case sensitive. Search is not a case sensitive. Okay, both will work like a same. Now I want to identify that. I want to identify customer name. Suppose customer ID, I will take it. Customer ID. Where is the customer ID? Okay, customer ID is here. So I have the slash here. I have the slash here, right? I have the slash here, right? The slash is there in the third position. I want to identify that the position of this slash, position of the slash, position of the slash here. What is the position of this particular slash? Okay, how can I identify it? Find function. I can use the find function, right? So go for write a find function. I can go for use it, find function. Yeah. So here I can go for mention it, uh, position in customer ID. The position is slash position. I want to identify it. Customer ID slash. Okay. So how can I mention it? Find, find. Okay. So here in double quotation, you need to mention that slash. In the double quotations, you need to mention the slash, comma. So on customer ID, I want to identify that on customer ID. So you need to specify here, comma, then only it will be get it. Customer ID. Okay. All right. So comma 1 comma 0, mention it. So everywhere we have it, nothing to worry that. So I want to identify that what is the position we have the slash in the customer ID. So in the third position for each and every customer, it is the third position. But if it is different, we can get the different number here. If it is in fifth position, we can get fifth. If it is in sixth position, we can get six. Okay, like that we can get it. Okay. So this is the way we can get it. Particular, if you have that at the rate in the suppose, if you have at the rate in the suppose, let me do one thing where I can go for add the at the rate. Let me do one thing. Hmm. Suppose product ID is there. Okay, in the product ID, I want to replace function. I want to do the replace. So can I go for edit it, edit transformation. Let me do replace function. We can do that. Mm, let me go for order ID, same standard class. I can space standard. Suppose ship mode, I can select it. In the ship mode, I want to replace with where I have the space. I want to replace with at the rate. I have the space. I want to replace with at the rate. Okay, click OK. Can we see that at the rate was replaced? Okay, at the rate was replaced. Right now, for the customer name also, I want to go for customer name. Replace value. Where I have the space, I want to replace with dollar. I want to replace with, if I have the space, I want to replace with dollar. Click OK. Can we see that the dollar is replaced? Yeah, here we have the dollar, 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 dollar. Fine. Okay. So now you can go for close and apply. Close and apply. First we can go for, let it be load the data. So here you can see that I want to identify the position of this at the rate, which position it is there in the at the rate. Suppose if you go with the first class, so what is the position count? Tell me, Chandu, what is the position at the rate is there in the first
Fourth,
class at the rate is there? ఏ
fifth,
పొజిషన్ లో ఉంది?
five or sixth position.
సిక్స్త్ కదా, సిక్స్త్. ఫస్ట్
Sixth
అనేది
position.
5 క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఉంది,
Five
తర్వాత
characters
సిక్స్త్
at the
పొజిషన్ లో
rate.
ఎట్ ద రేట్. సో సెకండ్ ఇక్కడ సెకండ్ క్లాస్ లోకి వెళ్తే ఏ పొజిషన్ లో ఉంది?
Seventh position. Hello. Hello. Bro. Hello. Hello,
సెవెంత్
bro.
పొజిషన్ లో ఉంది కదా.
Seventh position.
సెకండ్ 6 క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఇస్ దేర్,
Second six
సెవెంత్
characters.
పొజిషన్ లో ఎట్ ద రేట్ ఉంది.
Yes, bro.
స్టాండర్డ్ STANDARD స్టాండర్డ్ ఎట్ ద
Standard.
రేట్.
Yes.
ఎట్ ద రేట్ ఏ పొజిషన్ లో ఉంది?
Yeah, three.
నైన్త్ పొజిషన్ లో ఉంది. ఇట్స్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద నైన్త్ పొజిషన్. It's there in the ninth position. I want to identify this at the rate position. Which so how can I do that? I can go for a function like
Find
go
up.
for write a function.
Find.
Find the at the rate position. So I can use the find function. Find in the double quotation you need to mention it at the rate. Okay. So what is that string we need to be using? Standard. On top of that, ship mode we are using. Right, the position, first position at date I want to identify, and it will give that position number. Where we cannot identify that at the rate, then I can get it as 0. Okay, so enter. Okay, now you can see that. So ninth position, seventh position, sixth position, ninth position, seventh position, ninth position, ninth position, like that. All right, so that's we can get it position of that value. We can get that where that at the rate is there in that particular string. Okay, clear that how we can use that length find search functions. Okay, search DAX functions. Yeah, next we can go for see that lower function. What is the lower function? So if we have the segment here, I have the segment, these are all in a small letters, right? I want to convert into that C also into the smaller case. C is the capital, all the segment, all the string should be in a smaller case. I don't want to go for any capitals. Then we can go for mention it small lower function. The function name is called as lower. So write a new calculation. Segment I can specify it. So function name is called as lower function, and segment I want to use it sample superstores segment. Okay, all the values in the lower function, it will give that smaller case. Okay, lowercase we can get it. Let's see that. C also convert into the lowercase, the capital can be converted into lowercase, all we can get in lowercase. So similarly, we have the same similar function. We have it uppercase. All the characters can be converted into the capital letters. Okay, how can we do that? The function we have just vice versa. We have it uppercase. Okay, uppercase underscore segment. Function is called as upper. Okay, go for uppercase and segment. Okay, all characters, the string, entire string convert into the uppercase. Okay, capital letters, you can get it here. Okay, see that consumers all convert into capital uppercase. Okay, corporate, we can get the corporate. Next, I can go for a new column. I can write it. So what is the next function we have it? Next function we have it like right and left functions we have it. Right and left function. So let me go for left of the customer customer name. So what is the left function here is if you want to be identify that first four characters from my customer name, first 5 characters for my customer name, and first 10 characters from my customer name. If you want to identify that, it will return that first 4 characters from the string. Return the specified number of characters from the text string from the starting from the left side. When you specify that left, it will give the number of characters from the left side. If you mention it right side, it will give the number of characters from the right side. Okay, return the specified number of characters from the starting of the text string. Starting means from the left side. Okay, so let's see that how we can get it left function. So you can go for here, what is the customer name? I have it. Okay, go for see that customer name. I have it like this. So I want to identify that first 4 characters of the customer name. I want to identify that first 4 characters of the customer name. So how can I do that? So using that left function, why the keyboard is not working? No, I'm getting plus symbol when I'm pressing for equal to. Okay, it's not working. Customer name equal to Mhm. No, my keyboard is not working or what? Mhm. Let me go for a new calculation. Something is wrong with this. Remove this, right mouse, remove that cal, delete from the model. I want to get that first four characters from the customer name. Then we can use it left function, left underscore customer. Okay, so we have the function name is called as left. Function name is called as left. So from customer name, from customer name. Okay, comma. How many characters I wanted? Four. Okay, four. So go for close it, enter. Just see in the data. You can get it customer from the customer name. We are getting that first four characters. So if you identify it, the at the rate also is getting. When I go for identify that, at the rate also getting here. When I say that first four characters. So how can I remove the at the rate? How can I remove the at the rate? Specific. When I specify that first four characters, I am getting at the rate also. But I don't want at the rate. I don't want the at the rate. Without at the rate, what are the first? It's like a first name and a last name. I want to be divided. Okay, how can we do that? How can we do that? What is the requirement you understood? What's the wrong we are getting? When I specify that left, I'm getting my dollar symbol also. But I want to be get that. I want to be get that without dollar. Without dollar, first name and last name I want to be separated here. Here I want to get that before the dollar part. I want to get it. It's a four characters or five characters or six characters. How can I get that before the dollar? How can I get that? Okay, how can I get it? The position already, the dollar position we can get it, right? What is the what is the position the dollar is there in? So how we can get the dollar position? Can we write a position? What is the function we can use to identify that which position the dollar is there? What function we can use it? Tell me.
Find function. Find
Yes,
function.
yes, super. So we can go for write a calculation to find function. So go for new calculation here. So write a function calculated field find function to identify the position of the dollar. Okay, so let me go for write new calculation here. I can find that dollar position. Okay, dollar position equal to find. Okay, what I want to find it in single quotation. I mentioned that dollar position I want it. And where you want to find it, comma customer name. The customer name I want to identify the position of the that. Okay, so comma the position, first position I want to identify it. First position I want to identify it. If it is not there, if it is dollar is not there, then I want to display the zero. Dollar is not there, then I want to display the zero. If it is there, dollar is there, then I want to find that position of the dollar. Position of the dollar. Then go for check it. So here we can get the dollar 6845510. We are getting the position of the dollar. Now I want to divide. I want to be separate my customer name first characters of the mid. So I want to bring that. Uh, I want to bring that where we have that customer name. Yeah, before the dollar I want to get it. Before the dollar I want to get it. So how can we write it? Go for create a calculated field here. Go for create a calculated field here. Okay. Uh, First part of the name I can mention it. First part of the customer name. So I can mention is left function. Can I use the left function? Yes, I can use the left function. In the left, I mentioned that uh, customer name. I want to get the first part of the customer name. The number of characters I can get it from length of the dollar. Length of the dollar. We calculated, right? Length of the dollar is how much, right? It will give the number only, right? Length of the dollar will give the number only, right? Dollar length. So here I can mention that what are the calculated column we given. What are the calculated column we given? Sorry, cancel this one dollar position. Find that at the rate. Uh, let's write the new calculation again. Something is wrong. So I want to write it. I want to write it this first part of the cuss name. Okay. So what we mention here, left function we use it. Okay. And text I want to go for customer name, comma. I want to mention here comma. So I want to go for dollar position. I have field called as dollar position. Can you see this? This one. Okay, it will give that number only, right? Dollar position will give that number only. You can remove this. So I can use the dollar position and go for enter it. So what this function, how it will work? Left customer name. From the customer name, I want to take that left part. How many characters you want to take from the left is the number of positions based on the dollar position. Based on the dollar position. These are the integer values, right? I want to get that first 6 character here. Here I want to get that first 8 characters. Here I want to get the first 4 characters. Here I want to get first 6 characters. So maybe the first name, the first part of the name, it's a variant. It's not a similar with each and every customer. My name Srinivasa Rao. 10 first characters are 10. Chandu, it's only 5 characters kind of thing. So based on the length of that, based on the length of the first character, I want to get it. Okay, here I want to find it that one more thing. So here, if you go for mention that 6, 8, same position, it will give the dollar as well. It will give the dollar. Let's try to run this. It will give the dollar as well. Okay, let's try to check this. You can see the first characters are getting at the same time end of that first part we are getting dollar, but I don't want the dollar, right? I don't want the dollar need to be skipped. So how can we skip the dollar? Anyone can guess it? What I can write it to remove the dollar from here? In the same DAX calculation, how I can remove the DAX from here? Can you just tell me?
So we have to separate dollar from that name.
Not separate. I don't want to take it a dollar in the first part. Just I want to skip this. So in the same calculation, what I can. So here we are taking that position, right? The position is sixth from the left side of the customer name. We are getting six positions, eight position, four position, six position like that. But because of that, we are getting this many characters. Here six. Here you can see that five, five, five. So simple. If I go with this position, dollar position minus one, I can mention it. చందు మ్యూట్ పెట్టండి ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఎకో నాది నాకు వినిపిస్తుంది
Okay.
so you can see that when I say that minus one, so we can skip that dollar position in the first name. We are getting error. Why we are getting error? String. The left position we have it a dollar. Position minus one. I'm getting correct, right? Let me do one thing. For this one, I can put a bracket. Can I subtract minus one here? So here we can get it. Okay. Here we can get it. First character. The argument function left has the wrong data type, has an invalid value. Okay, maybe skip this here. We can go with a different function. We can get it from different function. So run it now. Let me show you with the different function. So this is the way we can go for get that left function to get that first number of characters. Okay, first number of characters from this based on the position. Okay, we can go for check this one. So for the entire function here, entire function. So this one will give us one. Here I can mention it. This one minus one, why we are not getting that position? Okay, let me check it. Okay, so this is the way we can go for use the left function. Similarly, right function as well. Similarly, we can go with the right part of the that customer. I want to get it only right part. If we go with here, Osman and again and Carl, I want to get the right part. Same, we can write it here, right function. Okay, you can directly go with the first part of the C name and go for duplicate it and go for create new column here. New column here. And the right part of the customer name. Okay, right part of the customer name, we can get it. So I can mention it, right function, RIGHT, right function, we have it. Okay, the text what we mentioned, customer name. I can go for take the customer name here. Okay, comma, I want to find out that number of characters from the position, right? How many characters I wanted. That's I can based on that dollar position I can take it as. Okay, dollar position. dollar position. I can take it here, right? So take it out and close it and enter it and enter it. So we can get it data from the right part of the dollar. So you can see where I have the dollar. We can get it from the dollar. Okay, so it here we can observe that something clumsy. I'm not considering that dollar position from left side it may be 6. Here we have only 4 characters. Based on that it is getting here. Based on that it is getting here. Okay, suppose here it mentioned that dollar position from left side is 7, right? So whereas I can go for here you can see here dollar is repeating here, dollar is repeating here. But based on the dollar I want to be separate the first name and last name. How can we do that? How can we do that? So for that we may go for use it. There is a function name is called as mid. There is a function name is called as mid. So for that we may go for use it. There is a function name is called as mid. There is a function name is called as mid function. So identify the position of that. We can use the mid function. Okay, what mid function will do is return the string of characters from the middle of the text string given a starting position and length. Given a starting position and length. So mid function we can give it, okay, length of that. So we can go for see that rest of the string functions. We have it a few more: trim function, substring function, and concat function. Okay, these are all functions we can go for see that tomorrow, and we can go for logical functions. Logical functions and operators we can see it tomorrow. Okay. So far what we discuss is clear. Any questions? And few more functions we have it exact concat function, combine values. We can see it tomorrow, and we can go for logical functions.